Okay, today we're going to talk about how we might start pitching for a Minecraft installation in your organisation. And the first part of that process tends to be looking around for bids and funding. Now, obviously there are a number of places you can get funding from and bids from, but I'm going to talk you through a funding form that we put in, which was successful, and it'll give you an indication of some of the things that we had to research and look at in order to get the funding that we wanted. So this is a typical institutional funding application form. We can see here there's guidance notes, which I would strongly recommend that you read prior to completing your form. They will give you a lot of insight into what the expectations are from the organisation or trust that are going to give you that money. So first of all, in the brief description, let's just talk through this a little bit. We gave a little bit of background information in terms of the popularity of the game and the success of the game. Statistics are good in a bid because they help anchor what it is you're trying to do. So in terms of Minecraft, feel free to use any of these statistics that are in here. We can see here that Minecraft had over 17 million downloads on the PC Mac platform alone, and there's a link there to the stats page for Minecraft. That was really important. It showed that the Minecraft was a very big tool, a very widespread tool, and it had a potential to reach a huge number of people. Taken on board also that the app in the App Store also regularly tops the charts in the top 10. We're talking millions and millions of people have access to Minecraft. So we talked about how it can reach out to people at the very beginning here. There's a little bit of information here which you need to take care of when you're planning a budget. If you can align your funding to, for example, some of the strategic developments of your organisation, that's really helpful. At some point you'll be asked to ballpark how much money you actually want. So you're going to need to do an expenditure chart and work out what your costs are going to be. We'll come to that in a moment. We were quite clever here, I suppose, in that the total project cost was around £6,000. We only wanted £5,000 as a pump prime start fee for this, rather than the full £6,000. It's not a huge amount of money, but we weren't asking them to meet the whole cost of all of the project fees. So it's worthwhile kind of looking at your figures and providing something that you feel is going to be met by the trust or the bidding partner, rather than trying to go for the whole lot. It might be easier to make up the whole lot from a series of smaller bids rather than trying to get everything from one particular supplier or one particular fund. Obviously you're going to need to look at the costs on year, so you need to be able to work out what your costs are. Again, a spreadsheet will help you do that, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But this particular bid was from a trust that was investing in pump priming. That is funding that is given upfront to a project to help get their project started and off the ground. The idea then being that the project is self-funded after 3 years. The idea here being the university, in our case, would take up the funding and continue to pay for the server hosting, or we would look and seek additional funding from other organisations beyond year 3. Again, be explicit. When you're putting your bids in, we've got a line in here which says the software licenses would not need additional investment beyond the initial purchase. It's really important when you're talking to your potential partners with putting bids in, that they're not going to suddenly receive, your costs are going to escalate and you're going to come back and ask for more, basically. So be upfront about what is explicit, about what you can afford and what you're going to pay for. We would also talk about what we're going to do in the future with things, and it talks about how we're going to actually meet some of our costs. So year-on-year workshops would be run as payment in kind through university's business as usual, or on a full cost basis for teachers. So that's simply saying, again, beyond the 3-year project, the university would pick up the tab, or our organisation will pick up the tab for running the workshops, for getting this off the ground. Whether that's true or not here, whether we actually seek additional funding to do that is not relevant at this particular stage of the bidding. At this point, these particular people, all they need to know is beyond year 3, you're not going to need additional support. In section 9 here, it talks about how we're actually going to link to the Department of Faculty Strategy. So what we've talked here about a little bit about the background of the project and how the whole History Centre got involved through these creative Lego sessions. and the project was aiming to support young people in creating an online historical whole, a virtual representation of the city, and by doing so engage with and reflect on the city's rich cultural heritage. Now that's a big ask, that's a massive big thing to do, but it's an aim, it's what we aim to do, and whether this is successful or not, we don't know, it's an unforeseen, but it's worthwhile putting in a fairly big aim at this particular point as part of the background for the project. We also linked the fact that Minecraft is used in a range of other national projects. So again, we have links here to the British Museum project, and also because Hull, where we're based, is the capital for the City of Culture 2017 theme. So we were looking to kind of build on that reputation and some of the investment that was going on in there as well. So it talks about the background and how we set up the website. Again, it's important to give that background as to how we've got to where we are today. And it gives people a feel, in layman's terms, trying to reduce the language down so it's not technical. So we're talking about scans, we're talking about plans that were downloaded in a virtual Minecraft world. We're not using any technical terms like server and bucket and technology or anything else that could confuse the issue for the layperson. We talked a little bit in our background here about how much we've done so far. So currently we had 42 subscribers to the website with no real promotional work beyond Twitter. So that we were basically saying this is how far we've got on our own. And that's also quite important and quite attractive to funders. What have you been putting in yourselves so far to make this a success? So sometimes people would like to know what it is you've actually done up until now off your own back. At the time we were about to launch our product, there were a lot of people who came through, and we did get a lot of interest from people coming and talking to us at this particular event. Again, getting ourselves out there and generating interest. So what are you doing again to get your project out there in the public domain? And then we've got the deliverables. This is what we are actually going to do. So we're going to engage learners with history through gaming, and we explain how we're going to do that. We're going to provide workshops for teachers, and we're going to show how many we're going to do, again, being specific and measurable and time-based. How many are we going to do? Is that realistic? And in how many years or how many weeks are we going to deliver that? So that, again, there are specific deliverables that we can measure and achieve. Again, talking about how we're going to equip one of our computer suites with Minecraft EDU, with the licenses for the teacher training program, or for running in workshops where students could come in and work within the university itself. We're looking at cross-disciplinary teaching approaches to the university. This was important from the university perspective because it's high on our agenda, and we were using Minecraft and the Hullcraft project to engage a variety of different departments. To date, we've had interest in Minecraft and how it can be used in the curriculum from sports physiology, from chemistry, from performance art, from performance and theatre management, from creative writing, and from geology and geography. So we've got quite a few departments who are interested in using this technology in a variety of different ways. So again, whilst it's saying that the Hullcraft project wouldn't fund these initiatives, it does facilitate a space where people could actually try these things out for themselves, and the purchase of the licenses will allow us to do that. Again, the server gives us our collaborative platform, so we're going to create a server, and what does that involve? And then finally, we're trying to add to the City of Culture project, which is unique to us, where we're trying to build significant buildings and promote that. And that's going to be a big push for us through 2016 with the project. So then what we have to do is tell them what we actually want. So this is our funding and project plan. So it tells us what we want. We want server hosting, we want licenses for software, we want marketing and promotional materials, and we want some fees to be paid to experts to actually run, build and create the Minecraft world. So it talks about what we're going to do in each year, so it's a 3-year project. So again, we outline what the initial effort in year 1 is, how that's going to progress through to year 2 and develop, and then finally year 3 and beyond, creating the rolling program of then sustainable activity. So again, we're looking to kind of build and link into other projects. So again, looking at outside of the wider remit here, in this part here, we're looking at how we join up with museum craft. which is the British Museum project, and we will be talking about that. And already we've started work with Holdcraft, for example, on linking digital archives and archive materials. So whilst we've been specific and said we're going to link with British museums in Minecraft, i.e. the British Museum project, it may not actually be that project that we link with. We may link with another project. For example, I know that Hannah in our project is working on digital archives right now, and we're going to lots and lots of talks and getting involved with projects where we are showing how we are bringing archives to life through digital technology, i.e. Minecraft. So we are meeting that remit, linking with other museums and other projects, but not in the way in which we explain. So don't get too hung up on, in your bid, about meeting specifics. It's a bid and it's a proposal. The remit may change, and as long as you justify that and have reasons for doing that and can explain the reasons for moving away from the original plan, you'll be okay. As long as they're justified reasons, and they really are sound. So we've got a link to the project University Aim, and our particular aim here was an engaged university, in particular being an anchor institution for our communities. This was really quite keen for us. We had a plan which was a strategic plan which allowed us to engage with the wider community and build Hull University's reputation in our region as a community centre for excellence. So a lot of the outreach stuff we're doing is putting Hull University on the map, and therefore it does meet one of the strategic aims of the university. It talks a little bit about the team expertise, and again the background, giving them confidence. So these things are being talked about in terms of how we can use Minecraft around the educational curriculum, but also with specifics as well. So it's important here to realise that the people that are being involved in the project are experts. So give a bit of background about what they're doing, how they bring strength to the project, and what it is that they are going to actually be doing, or giving the confidence to the board of trustees of the fund who are going to award you the money, that you actually have got experts on board. We talked a little bit about the partner, because our partner is the Hull History Centre in this. And again, it gives the background to the project from their point of view about how they got involved. And then this is really important, the project beneficiaries. We are nearing the end of this little section now, so please bear with me. The project beneficiaries, so who's going to benefit from this? Again, you need to think widely here. So not only are we talking about the current students who may want to become potential students, so we've got future students who are the young people of today who may want to come to the university in future. That's our obvious market here. They've done some work with Hull University, they had a great time, they really enjoyed it, and Hull University is on the tip of their tongue when they're writing their application form for university, because they had a great experience when they came here. So that's the first target market. The second target market is current students who would have an opportunity to work with us and do builds. Now we've already got those people. There's a group of people in the science department, for example, who are looking to engage with our Minecraft project, and they're wanting to do some builds, so we're having conversations with them. So through this pump priming and the ability to then bring in Minecraft EDU into university, we're now in a position for those students to build their own science world and get involved in the Holdcraft project. So they're going to benefit from this, and they already are. The educators, they're an obvious one. We're looking to book lessons in Minecraft and learn about gamification. So we've already got educators who are interested in how they can use Minecraft. And we would want to run some workshops about it within our own university for some of our teachers who might be interested in Minecraft in education. We also would be wanting to run courses externally for teachers and people who are outside, maybe homeschoolers who are interested in wanting to use Minecraft. The staff here as well, we're looking for getting innovative ways. They may want to pick this ball up and roll with it, but they're just using this idea as a springboard. So again, the staff might develop new pedagogies and try out new ideas. Again, we've got people in geology and geography who are looking at flood arrangements and flooding of areas and how that could be replicated in Hull, in Minecraft rather. So there's people who are using our work as springboards for their own ideas, and they're having conversations. And finally, the obvious one, the wider public. We want to run the server for 3 years and beyond. and allow people to join up and come and play, and anyone can come and play. So again, we've already achieved that one because we have people who are nothing to do with the university, nothing to do with the whole history centre, who have found our website, who have logged onto the server and have started building things. So we really are meeting the needs of our funding requirement already. But again, it's important to be obvious about it. Lastly, we're talking about sustainability here and how we're actually going to sustain the project beyond the lifespan of the bid. And what we've talked about here, again, we've been explicit. One-off costs, things for setting up security and e-safety and developing the materials required for the server. So those fees are upfront fees. Beyond that, we would be looking for self-hosting and the university to run the server beyond 2017. So we would then want to keep an archive of all the work we've done, and for the sake of a couple of £100 or £100 a year, I think it works out for us. For the sake of £100 a year, it's really not very much money to keep the server up and running and keeping it ticking over. So it's something that we feel is quite comfortable and easy for us to invest in. Then we come to the expenditure. This expenditure comes from a spreadsheet, and obviously this is just a spreadsheet straight from Excel, so I'm switching to Excel here, and obviously we just use a very straightforward calculation of our costs. So we've got the columns down here for each year of the project. Although it's a 3-year project, 2015, 2016, 2017, it began late 2014, which is when we put our bid in. So we were looking to get some money early 2014, so some of these costs moved into 2015 when we actually made our purchases, but for the sake of planning, you can see here where things come across. So there was no server in 2014, but in 2015 it was going to cost us £200, in 2016 it was going to cost us £200, but we actually managed to negotiate a discount. So we got a server for £300 for 3 years. So we were actually able to spread that cost a little bit beyond just those 2 years, which was great. The hosting company, Nitrous Networks, were fantastic on that. There's our upfront cost of the Minecraft EDU licenses and the server software. So that's our upfront cost converted to pounds. Remember, it's converted from dollars to pounds. We've put some initial print materials. Again, a lot of work in the first year. Again, take 2014, 2015 really as our first year. Most of the costs are up front in terms of developing print materials, getting stuff out there, getting banners printed, thinking about getting flyers printed, and that kind of thing. It's stuff to hand out. Also promotional and marketing materials, such as cuddly toys, gifts, iTunes vouchers, whatever it might be. If we want to run competitions, we've got to have some incentives for people to join. So if we wanted to say to people, right, all of you on the server, the best build of the month is going to get a little Minecraft toy, we need to be able to fund that. So you need to build those incentives into the promotional marketing materials. Also in promotional marketing materials, think about business cards for your people. So when you're going out to events, you can hand out business cards for people and get them to hand the business cards out and make the connections, build your networks, spread the word. Business cards are cheap as chips, but again, you need to build those costs in. This was the big one, initial consultancy fees. These fees were going to be spread out over a couple of years ultimately, but initially we said this was the amount of consultancy fees. We needed an expert to come in right up front and basically run this project. It's a project lead, a project manager, who would understand what the needs of Minecraft are, and they understand how to set up a server. So for all of those of you who've done the server week and the server hosting week, how to set your own server up, you're that person. You know how to set up a server, you've got it connected, you've proven that you can do it, you've had people connect to your server, you can protect it from griefing with various plugins and things. So really it's a chance for you to push yourself in that position. You may need to think about how you run it externally, because this is not going to be part of your day-to-day normal job running a server. You will be needing to be doing this of evenings, of weekends, so you probably want an external consultancy contract setting up, or an additional payment of hours contract setting up, because this will not be normally part of your day-to-day work. And then we have some running costs which are year on year for hosting events and staff workshops, and that's really covering things like teas and coffees, lunches, and organisational costs, some admin costs of organisation for running events and workshops. So those lines all add up at the bottom. With a sum there, they all add up at the bottom, and then the total amount comes to that figure there, which is just shy of £6,000. So that's the total amount we needed to run, but obviously we only asked for £5,000 of that amount back in our bid. So we've got an example of how we've made some in-kind payment here. So, for example, the university agreed to pay initial £55 for the server for 1 month, for 3 months. So that £55 was paid up front to get us going before our launch day. We've invested time developing the concept and hosting family days. The consultant invested time to plan, build and manage the website and starting to build the whole Minecraft world. And we've also invested times in producing marketing materials and times of the evening to help develop the whole craft world in Minecraft. Okay, so that's the application form, and a typical application form that you'll come across. As I said, we have the projected 3-year spend. We also have a spreadsheet here which is our expenditure. You're going to need to keep an expenditure sheet as to how much money you've spent, who to, the individual price of the units, price excluding VAT, etc., and keep a running total of those going on your expenditure sheets. So it's really important that you put everything on there because the project is going to require you to track that. So we've got things like this is our Minecraft EDU licenses, that's our server hosting, that's traveling to an event, expenses for traveling to an event, travel costs for going to the events, and there's some web hosting costs there as well for web hosting fees. So we're looking at a rolling cost program, we're looking at adding to this sheet, and again it's important that the team know where this sheet is so that you can actually update it and keep it going throughout the lifespan of the project. Okay, so that's the first bit. That's kind of some of the initial upfront admin required for running a project like this. You need to know who your project team are, you need to have promotional materials, and again we can find a whole range of different things for you. So if I type in, for example, Wholecraft flyer, there we go. Oops, my mistake. So that one there. We've got a Wholecraft flyer here. If I just make that smaller, this is one of the print materials that we created. Now, when we created this, we created it in such a way that it could be reused. There's no dates on here. There's an email address, info@wholecraft.com, which is the website. There's Twitter feeds there for people to follow and choose. And it gives you a little bit of an overview of what can be done in Minecraft. So this is a type of promotional material that we create and can take with us. Now we have 500 of these produced, and so we can take them with us to events and hand them out as marketing material to people. And it's a way for people to get back in touch with us for the project. And again, we've had a few people come back through the flyers saying they're interested in the project. So we'll go on in a moment to talk about, in the next video, to talk about how we create marketing materials, what kind of marketing materials might be good, and we'll talk a little bit about how you might actually do a presentation as well in our next section of videos. So thanks for listening. So this is the admin section covered of how to go about creating your bid, and we've talked through about some of the things that you're going to need for working with your bidding partners, and some of the ideas that you might need to put into a bid in order to gain interest. So when you're talking to your institution, have your facts ready, have your statistics ready, have your background ready, have your people ready, and have your figures ready. Putting those things together will give you a greater chance of success. Okay, thanks very much, and we'll speak to you soon and see you on the next video.